Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, good evening to all of you. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Very happy to be here on this Sunday evening with all of you to briefly examine the Bhagavad Gita and derive some much wanted wisdom in these times. Actually, these are very disturbing times for many of us. I just got off on a phone call from somebody in the United States of America who is a doctor, who is also a member of our ISKCON community and who has been doing his duty for the past 1 year, fully treating COVID patients. And I had to discuss with him. He called at an odd time, of course, but I had to talk to him quickly because he was advising me on what vaccines to take and when I should take and how I should do and what I should do, etc., etc. But then he also related to me very horrible happenings, how young children are being affected, those under 20, and are passing away in front of him, and all the other doctors. He's in Texas, in Dallas. I also heard from other devotees in India who are doctors and who are serving. All glories to all of these great caregivers who are battling in the forefront, risking their lives and doing an amazing job of helping so many nice, wonderful human beings in this great hour of emergency and necessity. Our hearts and prayers go to all of them who are under the spell of this powerful attack. I think this is one of very, very landmark pandemics which are occurring at a time when human society is anyway going through a great challenge and a change in many different ways. So sometimes people are wondering why it is happening this way and why it is happening to me or why it is happening to my beloved ones. We have in our society some very, very senior devotees who left us last year and this year also, some of them very seriously affected. So nobody is spared in the material world. Nobody in the material world is really spared. So deep questions are there in the deep recesses of all of us, in our lonely hearts. Of course, some of them are blissfully free, or ignorance is bliss types of people who have no understanding of what's happening till it hits them real hard. And maybe sometimes even then they don't get to know it very well. But intelligent people, thoughtful people, reflective people, they will all wonder why it is happening. Athato Brahma Jignasa. In the Vedanta Sutra, the first sutra tells us, therefore you must inquire, you must find out. So these are instances that make us think very deeply. And we must utilize this and not just be like animals without thinking. The thoughts are, why it is happening? Who is in charge? What are these things that are happening? How can we do something about it? So entire human society All glories to all of them who are working in the forefront and battling this amazing foe affecting all of us. Sometimes people may be thinking you guys are totally oblivious. You're discussing Bhagavad Gita and Ramayana at a time like this. Well, that's another type of a thinking. It's not that we are doing only that. In our society, we have been doing many things all over the world. And some of our devotees are in the forefront, distributing food to people, helping out in many, many different ways. Everybody is doing everything possible and nobody is an exception in any way. So today we are going to read, in keeping with this understanding as a background, and try to derive some solace, try to derive some level of understanding of what's going on. I'm asking all of you to go to chapter 9, and we will touch upon the last two shlokas of chapter 9, text 33 and 34. So we'll read 33 maybe. Chapter 9, text 33. If all of you would like to refer to your book, please open them and we can read. Chapter 9, text 33. Kim punar brahmanaha punya bhakta rajarshayastata anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. And if some of you want to repeat along like we do regularly, you can line after line repeat after I have pronounced it. I will do this shloka once more and then we can start doing it. Kim punar brahmanaha punya bhakta rajarshayastata anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. So let's chant. Kim punar brahmanaha punya. If you want to chant along, you can chant along with this. Kim punar brahmanaha punya. I can't hear you. Are you all chanting? Bhakta rajarshayastata anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. I think somebody is controlling the muting. Can you allow everybody to unmute? Whoever is in charge of the technical stuff. Who is here? I don't know. Anyway, I'll chant it again. It doesn't matter if we can't hear it. Kim punar brahmanaha punya.
Kim punar brahmana
Bhakta rajarshayastata anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. Right, thank you. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: how much more this is so of the righteous brahmanas, the devotees and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. Purport: in this material world, there are classifications of people. But after all, this world is not a happy place for anyone. It is clearly stated here, Anityam Asukam Lokam. This world is temporary and full of miseries, not habitable for any sane gentleman. This world is declared by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be temporary and full of miseries. Some philosophers, especially Mayavadi philosophers, say that this world is false. But we can understand from Bhagavad Gita that the world is not false, it is temporary. There is a difference between temporary and false. This world is temporary, but there is another world which is eternal. This world is miserable, but the other world is eternal and blissful. Arjuna was born in a saintly royal family. To him also the Lord says, take to my devotional service and come quickly back to Godhead, back home. No one should remain in this temporary world, full as it is with miseries. Everyone should attach himself to the bosom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that he can be eternally happy. The devotional service of the Supreme Law is the only process by which all problems of all classes of men can be solved. Everyone should therefore take to Krishna consciousness and make his life perfect. The last shloka, Krishna is explaining. Manmana bhava madbhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru mamevaishyasi yuktvaivam atmanam madparayana. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me, being completely absorbed in me. Surely you will come to me. So, Om Tat Sat, Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Mritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, previous to this, Krishna is telling all sorts of people can take shelter of me. There's no pre-qualification required. I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I am the father, mother of everybody. And when my child raises his arms and comes to me shouting, Father, I will immediately embrace him. But the point is here, nobody knows who is God. People are not getting educated on it. Our schools, our colleges, our learning centers don't teach people the real business of life. And therefore, they are not taught how to approach the Lord. If you don't even know him, how can you get to him? So Bhagavad Gita is preliminary knowledge. But who are you? Who is God? And where are you? What type of situation are you in? What type of situation are you in? So it's very important for us to know these details. Because if you come to know who are you and who is the Lord, Krishna, and then what is this world? You get this definition, Anityam Asukham Lokam, Imam Prapya Bhajasvama. And this is not no ordinary person saying. Not any mortal in this world is giving this definition of what this world is. Anitya. Nitya means eternal. Anitya means opposite, that is temporary. Asukham, no happiness you can get here. You can get only misery. It's very amazing. It sounds very negative. In fact, we are advised to be very positive in everything that we say. But the truth has to be said. Truth is being said here by Krishna. I'm sorry to tell you that this world is designed to be Anityam Asukham. Imam Prapya Bhajasvama. Krishna is saying, having achieved this type of a situation, the best thing you can do is to worship me. Because the converse is, if you don't worship the Lord, these miseries will become very huge. Very, very huge. And humankind cannot actually battle it. There is no reason, sometimes you will feel, who is doing this to us. Till today, nobody is able to know from where you're getting hit. Tamil Nadu will say, Irittadi. Means in the total darkness, you get beaten and you don't know from where you get beaten. From the back, from the front, from the side, from the top, from the bottom. If you're locked into a dark room and you're beaten left, right, center by people whom you cannot see, you don't know where it is coming from, the next blow, which direction it is going to come from, which part of your body is going to get attacked. So this whole pandemic is something like that. All the scientists are scurrying around trying to find out what it is, trying to get to the enemy. A small virus. a very tiny, insignificant thing can wreak havoc in humanity. Right? So many people dying every day. 2,000 deaths or odd, more than that, and maybe now per day in India alone. So who is doing this? Who is the reason for this? Why it is happening to humanity? What wrong did people do? Are obvious questions that anybody should be asking. Because before this, it was all normalcy. Things were very fine. So Bhagavad Gita gives us answers. It's only Bhagavad Gita that can give us answers to these things. And you may not like the answers sometimes, but it's the truth. The nature of this world is, it is temporary and it is not very happy place. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanah. In another place, Krishna is saying, Dukkha alayam. This is a house of misery. Ashashvatam, temporary. So I'm not here to give you bad news. I don't intend that you should all get bad news. But actually, this is good news if you know to look at it in the right way. So where is the right place for us to go to? Krishna is pointing that. Paras tasmatu bhavo anyo vyakto avyakta tasanatanaha yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyat vinashyati. There is another world where you actually belong to. You actually belong to that world. Parastasmatu bhava. Bhava means the nature of this world. Para, beyond the nature of this world. Vyakto avyaktata sanatanaha. That is eternal. Not manifested here. Yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyachuna vinashyati. And there are many living entities like you and me there. They never die. Their worlds are never destroyed. There are no such miseries there. It's a world of bliss, of happiness. This is described by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. We may not know that world. We may ask for proof of that world. Fine. But what is described about this world is true. And the proof is something that we are already undergoing. Anityam asukham lokam. We are having that experience now. So many people are suffering. And the suffering is so deep. And nobody is able to do anything. The entire country's management is not able to cater to it. How to bring in oxygen to everybody. How to give them beds for them. The hospitals are not enough. The pandemic is so huge. Casualties are mounting. Nobody is able to do anything. Nobody expected it would be in this range. Impossible to do something immediately. Only a divine intervention can do something. If you're religious, if you have faith, then you would definitely be praying to the Lord. Right? So Krishna is this way ending this chapter by saying this. Anityam asukh, this world is designed to give you misery. Watch out. And the only way to get out of it is to completely surrender yourself to me. Become my devotee. Manmana bhava mad bhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru. We must take this instruction a little seriously. Although it is like something out of the world and a solution that is completely different. But that's the message from Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Misery is the greatest impetus for self-realization. There is no doubt about it. Unless you are shaken up, you don't really start thinking deeply. Human beings are meant to think deeply. That's why they're given intelligence. You don't use your intelligence simply for understanding and experiencing, eating, mating, sleeping, defending. Ahara nidra bhayamaitanam cha samanyetat pashubiri narana. For both animals and for human beings, eating, mating, sleeping, defending are all common. But a human being is not equipped in the same way as animals. He has got extra faculties. He's got intelligence. Dharmahi tesho adhiko visesho dharme nagina pashubir samana. The quality of a human being is got his brain's intelligence. Gray matter. He can think, rationalize, analyze, and understand. His responsibility is higher. He is meant for executing higher responsibilities in life. And the higher responsibilities in life does not mean that he has increased the GDP of the country alone. That's not the meaning of higher responsibility. It's a very, very shallow understanding. The higher responsibility is to ask these questions and lead yourself and humanity towards that ultimate goal. That's why we're reading Bhagavad Gita. We're not skimming through Bhagavad Gita just like that for some temporary relief. Bhagavad Gita is not just some paracetamol that's just going to give you some temporary relief. You know, I was asked to I took the vaccine and they said, take Dolo, paracetamol, if you feel a little sick or anything. I did not take, of course. But they give you temporary relief. It's not meant for that. Human beings are not meant for temporary adjustments. They have to use their intelligence and think deeply and be long-sighted. Why are these things happening? So from this instruction from Bhagavad Gita, we understand misery is coming so that we start asking these questions. Whenever we float Bhagavad Gita sessions during lockdowns and periods like this, we get a huge number of people enrolling. Just now we are enrolling tomorrow's session. We are having more than, hundreds of people enrolled for Tamil session and Bhagavad Gita. Hundreds of people have enrolled. And all educated, nice people who really want to know and ask questions. Who can I ask? They're all trying to understand. So people are genuine. People are very nice internally. By nature, human beings are nice people. It is just that the leadership and the type of path that they are given spoils them. And you should know the purpose of life. And people should know how to understand that. They should be introduced to it. So when they choose their leaders, they know that I have to choose such a leader who will take humanity forward into understanding the goal of life and who will be able to give me the facilities for that. That's why it's mentioned here, saintly kingship, Raja Rishi. You can be a king, but you can also be a saint. They are not both anathema to each other. They in fact are the best combination for leadership. So it's mentioned, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidu. I instructed this science of Bhagavad Gita. Coming in the parampara, it has been coming on. Rajarshayo viduhu. All the great kings understood it. The leaders are given this Bhagavad Gita first. Rajarishi, king, has to understand it first. Then only he can lead the people properly. But I don't think that is the situation now. If we speak Bhagavad Gita to the people, they'll say, come on, get down and do something. What's the use of you doing Bhagavad Gita? No, there has to be sections of people who also teach you Bhagavad Gita. And there are enough people also doing many other things. We need all sorts of people in this world. It's not that everybody should be doing only one type of thing, increasing the GDP of the country. I don't think people are going to be happy doing that alone. It's proven beyond doubt that money alone has never made people happy. It's a myth. It's a myth. It's proven itself. You can have great GDP and all the people in your country can die afflicted by a virus because you don't know how to deal with it. You don't know how to do what is supposed to be done. So these are common things in life. You cannot do as a human being without understanding what is life about. What am I supposed to do? Why do I die? Why am I here born? What's my real duty? Is my real duty to just increase the GDP of the country? Is my real duty just to make money? But it doesn't bring me happiness. So these are deep questions that we must all ask. And when you ask these questions, you'll find none of these other leaders who are teaching you in the colleges and the universities or the economic pundits or all these other people who are engineering the social life of people, they cannot answer many of these things. It's only Bhagavad Gita that can answer. So misery is a part of life. And misery teaches us very good lessons. Amazing lessons it teaches us. That is why misery is a part of this world. Somebody should ask, why did God create the world with misery? Definitely, he's not some sort of a sadistic, masochistic person sitting on top. I want to screw all of you. I want to give you a tough time. Is that the picture we get about God when he says, Anityam Asukham Lokam? I have created this Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam for you. If you don't know fully the Bhagavad Gita, you get a bad impression of God. God is a very bad person. Just wants to give us a tough time. No, not at all. He is the most loving person. That's why he's immediately following this up by saying, Man mana bhava mat bhaktah madhyaji mam namaskuru. My dear child, get away from here. Come to your real home. My home. Yad gatvana nivartante taddhamam paramam mama. So you must understand these two realities. One is this place is miserable. It is not your original place. Number two, your original place, Krishna is inviting you to. And he's giving you a very simple pathway. And you must take it. In fact, you have no other choices in between. If you really want to be happy, the Bhagavad Gita tells you, leave this place. You are in a temporary body, which is going to fall down now very soon. You're going to die. That happens very fast. Please use your brains and intelligence to understand human life is very small span. And within that, you have the opportunity to understand this is a miserable place. Dukkha alayam. Krishna is calling it, dukkha, amazing word he uses. House of misery. Can you imagine? Why is Krishna calling the world dukkha alayam? Anityam asukham lokam. Imagine any one of us would dare to title our house during the Graha Pravesha, open the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, the name of my house is Dukkha Alayam. Would anybody do it? No. Sukhalayam is what is the thing that we want to open up and show. My house is Sukhalayam, full of happiness. But Krishna has already said, no, you can't have Sukhalayam house inside this Dukhalayam world. It has to get affected with dukkha, with misery. You can't escape it. So what do we do? What can we do? We can say, to hell with you, Krishna. I don't believe you. I am determined to be happy. No. You will see that it's not possible for most of the people to be happy just like that. They are in illusion. It's in a bubble. That's the history of the world, you can see. Finally, everybody dies anyway. And that is anyway not something happy. Can't you see we are all destined to die? It will be finished. It's a small span of life. 80 years, max. Then already by 60, 70, you start dying very fast. Of course, every portion of your life, you have started dying. Right from the time you're born, you have started dying. Every year is 1 year closer to death. Although you celebrate it as happy birthday to you, etc. You light 1 candle, 10 candles, 50 candles, and you blow it and you say, Hari Bol, happy birthday. And you say, you've lived for so long. We want to have you many happy returns of this day. Not many. This is the harsh truth of life. People would die. So therefore, when people die, if you look at it through Bhagavad Gita, you know that actually they don't die. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin. For the soul, there is no birth, no death. It's only the body that is dying. Only a person who understands Bhagavad Gita deeply like that can tolerate this onslaught of the pandemic and be rooted on a spiritual platform. There is no other go. You can't do anything else. See, in tight situations, people learn the best of things. I'm sorry if you're feeling different about it, but this is the reality. Really speaking, the soul can never be destroyed. Really speaking, the soul can never be affected. But the so-called misery that we are undergoing is an external thing. But because we have forgotten ourselves and forgotten Krishna, we are made to go through this illusory misery. The misery is also illusion. The happiness is also illusion here, actually speaking. Anartho upasamom shakshat bhakti yoga madokshaje. In Bhagavatam, it speaks about this. The miseries of the living entity are external to him. They're not real. That's the real philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita. But you don't understand it. You are in illusion. So therefore, the illusory misery has to trouble you. Only then you will ask for questions. And then the reality can be given to you. That's why it is there. That's the reason why Krishna has put misery. It's like the child being told by the mother, if you don't do your homework, I'll lock you up in that dark room. I'll put off the light. No, please. I'll study. Scaring you. But the dark room, what is there? Big deal. You put on the light, there's nothing dark there. Mother is just scaring you. And she may do it to you sometimes. And she'll keep you there for a few minutes. And when you yell and scream, she say, I told you, if you don't do your homework, that's what I'm going to do to you. No, I'll do my homework. It's an illusion. But the other adults who are watching, they're saying, okay, she's doing this regular stuff. You've got to teach them. So Krishna is also actually doing that to you. But then it's not so easy. You're not so advanced spiritually to understand that, Krishna, you're playing the fool with me. You sent the coronavirus and you're making us die. No, I don't. You're not in that position of understanding and education. For us, my child matters. If she's stuck with corona, I'll finish. My life matters. And all these things are very, very important for us. Therefore, we have to play it according to where we are. We can't prematurely, without qualification, become spiritually liberated. You have to go through that process. But the fact is, misery is also an illusion. You're not really suffering, but you're made to suffer so that you wake up to the reality. What's the reality? Follow Krishna's instruction. Man mana bhava mad bhakto matyaji mam namaskuru. He wants you to understand your eternal relationship with him. Your father is calling upon you and telling you, please, my dear son, my dear daughter, please look at me. I want to help you. I want you to be happy. Don't suffer like this in isolation, cut off from me. I am the root of all existence. Mattah parataram na anyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. Mayi sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. There is no truth above me. I am the foundation. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattas sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajate maam buddha bhava samanvita. Intelligent people understand this and worship me. And they get back to me. So there is another world. There is no doubt about it. Many people have spoken about it in the past also. And you can get to that world. That's the real business of life. Get to your eternal position where there is no birth, no death, no old age, no disease. Janma mrityu jaravyadi dukkha doshanu darshanam. You won't have darshan of these things at all. Janma mrityu jaravyadi. Janma, birth, mrityu, death, jara, old age, vyadi, disease. No corona. You will not be able to ever see it. And when you go there, you'll see all this is just a Buchandi game by God to us. I put you in the dark room. You will understand that this is actually that much only. But for that, you need to be situated in your spiritual identity. Therefore, very, very important for us to take these instructions seriously. Number one, we are not in reality. We are not situated in our original home as spirit souls that we are. We are in this illusory world. And our identity is also an illusion. To think I am this body is an illusion. So within that illusion is also misery, which you're suffering, and happiness also, which you think you're enjoying. The misery and the happiness is illusion. So wake up. So this is a wake-up call. The Gita's philosophy is describing to you your situation in the material world, your hapless situation, your hopeless situation, your helpless situation. And it is telling you, wake up to the reality. So intelligent people will take this seriously. Intelligent people will take this seriously. So this is what everybody is waiting to understand. So Krishna is saying, become my devotee. And once you become my devotee, I will lead you into the right path and take you back. My dear child, listen to me. This is best for you. I am speaking with a great interest in you. Krishna is telling Arjuna, Sarva guhyatamam bhuya shunume paramam vachaha. Ishto asmi. I am feeling very much for you. I'll give you the greatest of all secrets. In the 18th chapter, again, the same shloka of the last shloka of 9th chapter will come up again as a supreme instruction. Shunume paramam vachaha. My topmost instruction to you is man mana bhava mat bhaktah madhyaji mam namaskuru. Become my devotee. Offer your namaskaram to me. And remember me. Absorb yourself in me. Mamevaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. You will definitely come back to me. You're very dear to me. Take this advice. Right? So there is no alternative to surrendering to the Lord, who is the maker, who is the creator, who is the shelter of all the living entities in this world, not only human beings, even the ants, the gnats, the mosquitoes, and the blue whale, all of them are sheltered by the Supreme Lord. And these are instructions given here. And Prabhupada is speaking, take to my devotional service and come quickly back to Godhead, back home. This is the instruction of Krishna giving. Do we take this seriously? That's all that matters. If you're able to seriously take it, you will definitely, seriously, surely achieve that end. There is a wonderful spiritual kingdom that is spoken about. I was reading the Ramayana sometime back for Ram Navami, and how the Lord takes all the residents of Ayodhya back to the spiritual world. It's very famous. Ram Rajya, such a leader he was. He took everybody back to the spiritual world. Glorious. So the same Lord is again telling you in Bhagavad Gita, come back to that world. And that is spoken about again and again in Bhagavad Gita also. It's not necessary you have to wait for Elon Musk to send a spaceship to that place and check up whether what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita is correct or wrong. He will never think of it. He will never be able to do it. He'll never believe in it. And he will be going around here inside this world with his spaceship. But this is beyond the material planets. It is beyond his material creation. And you don't go there in a spaceship ordinarily made in this world. You are taken directly. Tesham aham samurdhatta mrityu samsara sakara bhavami nachirat partha maya veshata chetasam. Achirat partha. I will take you through another route. Secret route. Quick route. If you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And if you remember me and worship me, offer your homage to me and serve me in whatever way you can, I will never forget those services. I will take you back home, back to Godhead. So this is a guarantee given by Krishna. Why not we try this? If people can book up for Elon Musk's trip to Mars and risk their whole life and money and everything, why can't they take the words of Krishna given in Bhagavad Gita seriously? And you will go beyond Mars. You go beyond Mars. So many universes in this whole material realm. It's not just only one Mars and one Earth planet. hundreds and thousands and billions and trillions of such universes with Mars planets in them. But you'll go beyond all of them to the spiritual world, Vaikuntha, Goloka Vrindavana, the place of Krishna standing with his flute, that is mentioned throughout the Shastra. That is mentioned, and it is a reality. How do I know it's real? Well, Krishna is speaking in the Bhagavad Gita and telling. How else do you know it's real? Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, great acharyas like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarka Swami, Vishnu Swami, name it, all of them are saying, yes, there is such a world. And you can go back there, it's permanent. God is a reality, but this world is actually an illusion. It's not real. So changing our paradigms. We live in a highly so-called rational world where people want to ask questions and confirm things. Only then they will believe in it. Well, for people who are groomed in this culture of the Bhagavad Gita, of the Bhagavatam, of the Ramayana, of the Mahabharata, and who have heard this through generations and generations and generations, and who have practiced this culture and actually gone back to Godhead in many, many occasions. And that same culture which has been eroded by the force of the present age of Kali is only making your faith weak, that's all. But the moment you read Bhagavad Gita, the moment you associate with such people who discuss these matters, your faith will come back and you will understand this very well. Ramachandra Bhagavan, he assured all of the Vanaras. He brought back to life all of the Vanaras. You will see in the last portion, the Yuddha Kanda, that Indra will come. And all those Vanaras who are wounded, who are dead, who are sick, Indra will ask, what can I do for you, my Lord? He will say, all those Vanaras, hundreds and thousands of them who fought for me and died, bring them all back to life. And they should be so energetic and enthusiastically with no trace of, there should be no sickness in them. They'll have no wounds or anything. They should have an enthusiastic, energetic life. And so be it. Indra did it. All of the Vanaras got back to life. Why? They did service to Lord Ramachandra. And he accepted their service. They were just monkeys. They just don't have much skill. But they did something for Ramachandra. So Ramachandra was so grateful to all of them. He gratefully crowned Vibhishana in Lanka. And Vibhishana, he became the king. And he told Ramachandra, while I am king here, at least one day you please stay here. How can you leave me? You made me king and you leave me. I want to welcome you and be the king. I want to give you these gifts. I want you to, worship you. I want to do many things for you as a king. Please don't leave me. So one day he said, okay, I'll agree. I have to go very fast. There is Bharat waiting for me at Nandagram. There are a whole lot of people waiting. And my father has come in here. Dasharath appears there after the Agni Pariksha of Sita. It's a wonderful moment. And everybody is so happy. But before that, all sorts of crazy things happened to Rama. Right from the time he left to the forest till now. His Sita was stolen away. So many amazing things happened. So now it's happy aspect. The Lord is with everybody. Please mute yourself. Whoever is opened up, please mute yourself. It's a little disturbing to others. Who is that? Excuse me, can you mute yourself? I know you're chanting Hare Krishna, it's very nice. But I think others are also hearing it. It will be... Okay, thank you. Yes. So Ramachandra, he actually revived all of the Vanaras. He coronated Vibhishana. Vibhishana requested this of Lord Rama and he agreed. And then as he was moving in his Pushpaka Viman, which Vibhishana arranged for him, he said, I also want to see the coronation of you in Ayodhya. Why are you leaving me here alone and going? I want to see the coronation. All the Vanaras also said, Hanuman, Sugriva, and said, he told Sugriva, okay, continue, you're ruling as it. But what about me when I want to come? I also want to come with you. I want to see your coronation. So Rama said, okay, all of you come. And the Pushpaka Viman was so huge. It was like a big planet city. All the Vanaras got into it. The Vanaras were, what a number. You can't even count it. They all got into the Pushpaka Viman. All of the Rakshasas and Vibhishana's people, many of them who were inclined to Ramachandra, all of them got into the Pushpaka Viman. Everybody got into it and went to Ayodhya. They picked up also Bharata. They went to Ayodhya and witnessed. There is no limit to what the Lord can do. He doesn't have to tell the Vanaras, oh, I don't have place in my Pushpaka Viman, I'll try to send it back and get. There's no limit. God can do anything he wants. And that's what he did. He took the whole of Ayodhya back to God. Because they were all so much completely under his instructions and surrendered to him. Anything can happen if God so wills. So the best way to pray for people who are affected by Corona is to offer to all of them a prayer to the Lord. My Lord, if you so desire, please relieve them of this deadly disease. We promise that we will always remember you by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is what is the reality. It may sound sometimes to some people completely impractical. No, this is the advice given in the Bhagavad Gita. And this is what Krishna wants you to do. To those who do that, especially like Ramachandra protected those who served him and had faith in him. To those who do that and follow the instruction of God, you will be protected under the worst of conditions. Krishna never forgets the service rendered. Krishna never forgets your prayer. If you chant this Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, in this Kali Yuga, it's the easiest way to get the attention of the Lord. Sincerely hear these mantra vibrations, Hare Krishna Rama, and read the Bhagavad Gita. Put yourself in reality. Don't think this is odd, it is phantasmagoric. What is described here doesn't seem practical. I don't see anything like this around. What have you seen, by the way? How much do we know about things happening? Many things we don't know. In fact, most things we don't know. We think we know. We never knew that there's something called a coronavirus that can wreak such havoc. We never knew. It struck us, a bolt in the blue, all of a sudden. So what do we know? Let us know God. Let us know ourselves. Let us know our horrible situation in this world. Let us get to know our original position in the spiritual world. And it's a reality that you can go back and Krishna will protect you. And this is what Lord Ramachandra did. He took all of them back to God. He took all of them back to God. At the end of the Ramayana, you would see that he sends everybody back to Ayodhya. Even today, in Vaikunta, is one section called Ayodhya, where Lord Ramachandra, Sita, Lakshman, Hanuman, and all of them are there, still performing the Ramayana pastimes, still remembering, and all of his praja are still worshipping him, and they are enjoying the shelter of Ramachandra. That is described. Similarly, Krishna is saying, Yad gatvana nivartante tathama paramam mama. If you come to my home, my abode, you never have to come to this miserable place again. Right? So it's a reality. That's a great hope for us. And let's all today join together and chant Hare Krishna for the welfare of many of them who are struggling in the front, many of them who have been afflicted, and many of them who have lost dear ones, and many of them who are maybe, possibly, potentially going to get affected. We pray to Krishna, and prayer always has got great effect. Join me in praying for all of them. 1, 2, 3. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Rama Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama
Rama,
Rama
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Any question or comment? Thank you very much for joining in the prayer. Anybody has any question or comment? We are very happy to be able to assist you. Lohita is asking, why Krishna give problem to devotees, Maharaj? Krishna is not giving problem. Krishna is not giving problem. It is the sinful activities of the people in this world that bring them into these type of situations. Krishna is not a person who is interested in troubling all of you. He is interested in giving you permanent relief. But the living entities in this world are too attached to material enjoyment, and they want to have this temporary situation. So they're not understanding the instructions of the Lord. That's why we must understand Bhagavad Gita. You can remain very happy if you follow God's laws in this world. The problem is when people don't follow God's laws, they go against God's laws. They kill all other animals. They give trouble to Mother Earth. They deforest. They create an unstable situation in nature. They pile into the earth and draw oil. They do so many things, thinking that the natural resources are their grandfather's property, that it belongs to nobody. I can take the oil, whom do you care? I can pump any type of gases into the air, all the type of pollutions. Who can say anything to me? But there is somebody who is looking after all these things. When you do these type of activities, our so-called industrialized nations, our so-called meat eaters, our so-called people who trouble other living entities, all these are sinful activities. There are laws for God for remaining in this world. If you don't follow them, then you'll get reactions like this. Coronavirus, tsunami, temperatures rising, right? Sea levels rising. And so many things happening, and people are en masse being destroyed. It's a sign that people are not following the orders of God. So there'll be reactions to that. If you don't follow the traffic rules, definitely they will catch you, fine you, and put you in jail. No doubt. If you go and do certain things that are not permitted in society according to the laws of the land, definitely you'll be caught and punished. There's no doubt about it. Same way, for living in this world, there are rules, there are laws. It's not that nobody is watching. I'll drill and take a lot of oil, and then I will sell it to this country, make that money. Then I'll invest it here, and then I'll do this, then I'll do that and do this, and I'll pollute the atmosphere. No. It's not your grandfather's place. It belongs to God. Isavashyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magrida kasya svidhanam. Upanishad tells us everything that you see, inanimate and animate, all belong to the Lord. Isavashyamidam sarvam. Isha means God. Everything belongs to the Lord. So we can live here understanding everything belongs to the Lord, and we will take only what is necessary. We won't damage other things. We won't damage the plants, the trees, the hills. We won't pollute the rivers. We won't do all these things. We will live a life in complete agreement and alignment with the laws of God. And it will be easy for you to understand God and understand you. You will get plenty of food, plenty of clean atmosphere, and human beings can worship God nicely and be problem-free and go back to God, because that is the business of life. That's the main business of life. Okay, Lohita? I hope that helps you understand. Akshaya Shivanandam. Thank you for giving us lectures that are relevant to current situation. I had some question which your was answered in the past hour. Okay, that's Krishna as super soul. Almost always it is difficult to think that misery is also illusion. What to do, Maharaj? Devaki Sumukhi. Yeah, that's a good question. Happiness is illusion. We will never think. We will never think happiness is illusion, because we are attached to that materialistic happiness. But to think that misery is illusion is more difficult. We wish we could think that. Then we can bypass misery. Is the immediate thing we're thinking. But if we are spiritually oriented, for a person who is spiritually oriented, Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Samaloshrasma Kanchana. For a person who is spiritually oriented, he sees that gold and pebbles, stones, both are of same value. He sees both of them same. Right? In the same way, for a person who is situated on his real identity of spirit soul, he doesn't see misery as something different from happiness. He sees both as illusion. And he goes through it without getting affected by it. Without getting affected by it. And that is described by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. He says, Padmapatram ivam bhasha. Like Prabhupada is saying in this purport, the person who knows this knowledge and who believes in it, has faith in it, practices it, he gets realization and understanding. So although he's still in the world, he is in the world, but not of the world. Yes, Jesus Christ said, in the world of the world, but not of the world. He's not part of it. He's not attached to it. He does not get affected when things get affected in the world. So such is the status of a very spiritually elevated person. And we can get to that situation. So for such a person, misery is just an illusion. So we may not be in that situation so easily. Right now, we may be interested in that because I want to get rid of misery. The immediate thing we want is to get relief from misery. But relief from misery temporarily is not the only way to sort this problem out. Krishna is giving a permanent solution from all types of misery. And that we should take it full, lock, stock, and barrel. We should take the full solution. Not that I like only this portion of it, I will take this. When children are shown, certain things, they'll take only the sweets. Or sometimes they'll take only the cherry, or they'll take only the cream on top, the icing on top, right? So we don't cherry pick in the solution given by Krishna. Something that I like alone, I will take. The rest, I don't want to change. No, the solution comes on the whole. If you take the wholesome solution, then you will be able to cross over misery, happiness, everything, and be eternally happy. And not just happy, you'll be blissful. So consider that very carefully. Okay. So thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Wishing all of you a happy Sunday night. Sweet dreams of Krishna. And may you remain safe and free. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.